Well, we're starting. We're live. Welcome, everyone, to the world of Q&Asa, where the past, the present, and the future of gaming, they all converge. We talk about cool stuff that's brilliant and fun. How's everyone doing? I see Peter, Isla, Painful Discourse, Replicant, Baz is here. Anybody that I missed, I'm ever so sorry. I'm a bit of a dope, but I'm really glad to have you all back here to talk to me about all of these things. We're going to do the show as usual. You know how it runs. We talk about what we've been playing. This week, actually, in two cases, the games that I've been playing do kind of segue and lead on to the topics that I've got planned. So I might break the structure up of that a little bit. But broadly speaking, we're definitely going to talk about what all of you have been playing. You're going to tell me what's brilliant, what sucks, how many games Jordan has completed in the last 4 hours. Tony, of course I will say your name. You sent me a... What did you send me? You sent me something weird. I can't remember. Deck chair. So, oh, you're saving Patrick a seat. That's good. Yeah, there's always a seat for Patrick. There's always a seat for everyone. That's how YouTube works. You'll also notice, so we've got usual ways to talk to me as the show runs, because it is conversational. Easiest, simplest way to get involved is to type in chat if you want to. You don't have to. No, Baz, not that. Not that. You don't have to type in chat, but if you want to, you can. We'll have these conversations. We'll go back and forth. We'll find out what you've been playing and all the rest of it. You've also got the option too, at some point midway through the show or whenever it's there, the YouTube Q&A box will pop up. I look pale today. Thanks. Thanks. The YouTube Q&A box will pop up. Anything that you pop into the Q&A box, be it joke, question, trivia, or anything else, we will get to at the end of the show. One by one, every single one of those will be addressed. So if I've missed the important things that you've got to say, you can stick them in there. Tony, keep them zipped up. Third way that you can talk to me. Nobody does this one, but the option is there. You've got Discord. So if you fancy coming on the show yourself with your voice and or your face, probably not just your face, actually. It would be a little bit weird if you just came and grinned inanely for a minute. But if you want to jump onto Discord, you can go onto the Game On Daily server. Over on the left, you see a Q&Asa section. If you drop yourself into any one of the waiting rooms, then when moment arises, I'll pull you into the live chat and you can say hello to the world, say whatever you want to say. And there is a fourth, you may have noticed, there is a fourth option that you're not allowed to use, the forbidden option. The channel is pity monetized. YouTube decided that I'm never going to reach the 1,000 subscribers that you need for monetization, so they lowered the requirements and they gave me pity monetization. So there is also option 4, the forbidden option, which is to super chat. None of you are allowed to do that. It's enabled just in case anyone super wealthy rocks on by and wants to throw loads of money at me. That's fine, but you nice regular people, that would just make me feel weird. So those are the options. There will be, I will enable channel memberships for a nice little discount, but I'm never going to push or pressure anybody to actually sign up for those. Maybe. You nearly did it, but you got scared. What are you scared of? I'm confused. Scared of Tony? Peter Morland, you're just chilling, waiting for me to turn on the telly. Wait a minute, can you not see me? You can see me. I'm here, I'm live. Tony has a question. How much sex is too much sex? Tony, that's a very personal question that you need to evaluate for yourself on your own terms. Okay, good. Moving on from there. So, what have we all been playing this week? Refresh. Hang about. That's not even a game. What have you been playing? So I've been away from the streaming for probably 2 weeks, really, because I just I don't know, fell into a cave somewhere. Not a literal cave, but fell into a cave and disappeared for a couple of weeks. I'm back now. Samster, Doom 2016 currently owns your life. Have you played Doom Eternal? Because I have a theory that Doom 2016 is better than Doom Eternal. I say a theory, I guess that qualifies more as an opinion, right? I think that 2016 revolutionized Doom in a way. Had like more impact on me than Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal's still brilliant, and id Tech and the stuff that they've done with the technology is incredible. So definitely go and play it. I didn't feel that the stuff that they added to the combat loop actually added to the combat loop. I preferred 2016, I think. Tony, you bought the Maxwell. Oh, you bought the wireless one for the Xbox. You're getting them on Friday, so you're hoping that they're good. I want your feedback on them, Tony. Say I'm not an expert on wireless headsets that are good and bad. You're 60% through and the game is perfect. You'll hear no counter arguments. You'll get no counter arguments from me. I mean, perfect is a little bit strong, but that doesn't really count as a counter argument. Doom 2016 was brilliant. Replicant, you've been playing / watching Final Fantasy 16, so you've got it on your own PlayStation 5, right? You're not playing / watching on YouTube. I'm thinking on Final Fantasy 16 that I probably will just wait for the PC version. I've got multiple reasons for that now. My reasons for waiting grew a little stronger today as well, because I got some new toys. Almost got some new toys. But how are you finding it? How's Final Fantasy 16? How's the frame rate and performance for you? As you've been playing Bramble, Diablo, and Street Fighter 6. Painful Discourse, I am not on Top Chat. Diablo is one of the things that I want to talk about. We spoke about it really briefly on stream yesterday, but I want all of these people here. There must be some massive Diablo 4 fans that can tell me how you're finding that game, because I'm mixed, very much mixed feelings on it, and everybody else seems to adore it, and I want you to convince me that I should adore it, that the things that I'm seeing as lesser than Diablo 3 that I'm wrong about. That would be very helpful. Joe, welcome, good evening. What have you been playing? What do you play? You play Plants vs Zombies, Isla. I am aware, I've seen that happen. You do little pot breaking thing. Replicant, you're enjoying it, but you're playing it at 30 frames per second. So are you purely playing Final Fantasy, or are you switching back and forth between some other games? Because that's when 30 frames gets more jarring, is if you spend a bit of time playing something else and then pop back into the 30. Then it can be a bit... Vase breaker, vase breaker, vase breaker. Yes, you made me do that on purpose. How's Bramble? Replicant, I saw that was on your work trip, wasn't it? I didn't see your motherboard die. That wasn't on your work trip, but I saw your card was cloned. Is that going okay in terms of reimbursement? Like, have you managed to cancel the transactions and get on top of it? Well done for noticing. I probably wouldn't have. If anyone ever steals my money, it would take me 6 years to realize, because I prefer not to look at the numbers. Just pretend that I've got money, whether I have or not. I haven't. And then your motherboard died, which is... Do you build your own PCs, Replicant? And, like, are you confident that it's the motherboard that's died? Or are you going through component troubleshooting, rotations, and pain in the ass stuff like that? All sorted. The bank refunded the Mexican food. Good. Good. Joe's playing Halo Infinite, Diablo 4, and Amnesia the Bunker. So let's do Diablo 4. This is... No. I'm getting ahead of myself. I haven't talked about what I've been playing. Diablo 4 is second on the list. You saw me yesterday playing Horizon Forbidden West. So I'm going to talk really briefly about that. Aaron Summers, welcome. Thank you for the thumbs up and stuff. You watched my one-on-one with Web Dave. He already subbed to Game on Daily, so you came to show support. Thank you very much, appreciated. You are welcome to stick around and chat if you want to, or go and do other things that you want to do. Either way, glad to have you here for the time that you have been, so appreciate that. Web Dave's a good guy. It was a nice relaxed chat that we had over there. As you only played for half an hour the crap version of Little Nightmares that Bramble is. So I saw... Maybe it was you that I saw having that conversation with someone. I saw somebody else saying that it was a lesser version of Little Nightmares. And I saw somebody else getting upset about some of the things in it. Sam Stern already playing Pillars of Eternity, Sifu, and Diablo 4. So you have no business playing Doom right now, but you've managed to get 60% of the way through it. That's how things go. Aha! Pretty terrible getting through games. I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West for... since it came out. A long time. What is this in the background? That's a good question, Aaron Summers. Probably saying that wrong. Previously, up until this week, the background changed week by week. So every week I would do a different OST and a different background, and part of the game would be to kind of identify it. So people that were watching could see who could identify the game first. I decided that was too much effort, So today's background is a repeat background I have had on the show before. It's a brand new OST, so that's still up for grabs for people to guess, but the background, I'm just going to tell you. No, I'm not. I'm going to let somebody else tell you. So I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West, wink wink, Horizon Forbidden West. Don't know why I said wink and didn't do it. I am capable of winking. But I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West, which is still probably amongst my favourite, maybe my very favourite of the next gen games. And it's very visually striking when you get out. Is it Monster Hunter? It's not. I can see why you would say that, but no, it is not Monster Hunter. So, in terms of HDR as a technology, Horizon Forbidden West is one of the best examples of HDR. You go out in the night and you fight the robots with their blue lights and their burning fire, and it like pierces through all of the fauna and stuff, and just all of the flora and stuff like that, all of the leaves and brush and all the crap that's around, all these lights and colors pierce through it, and it looks gorgeous. So I've been enjoying that very much, and obviously not just because it looks nice, but the game, I've always felt that the Horizon games take strong cues from the Witcher games in terms of how they structure their open world and their side quests, and that's a compliment. So I like them a lot. A lot of people spend some time hating on that game, but it's misplaced. It's really good game. Yes, Replicant, the winking was the clue. It is Horizon Forbidden West in the background. You are correct. You want to make a thing at some point. What kind of thing do you want to make, Isla? I'm afraid I'm not recording this show in the way that you like me to, so there won't be anything to make from that. Tony, I'm not seeing what you're saying on that one. Them's just people doing people things. That's coming through as a pink turd, Painful Discourse, and I don't know what that means. You got platinum trophies on both Horizon games. You absolutely love the world and the story. Good to hear. So do I. I didn't expect to enjoy the Horizon story the first time around. Like the whole robot dinosaurs thing did not grab me as a concept until they explain it away really well in the game. And I very much liked it. And it took me a while to get into Forbidden West as well, to appreciate like the story that was telling, but it probably took 40 or 50 hours before I started to appreciate that one. But I'm enjoying it. I'm right near the end as far as I can tell. There is still the DLC to play, which I probably will. Aaron, have you played the DLC? Is it good? I didn't enjoy the Frozen Wilds DLC on the first game. I'm hoping that Burning Shores, though, is different. I am scared. Yes, I'm terrified of whatever's going on with Painful Discourse. Who is not a thing that we do around here. Tony, you're reporting this stream for animal abuse? I hadn't even started that bit yet. What are you talking about? That's later. So, let's talk about Diablo. Read yours. Oh, that you're going to make an overlay. Yeah, that's okay. It's not a rush though, but we will have other things, other ways to set up the scenery. So up to today, this being apparently, I'm told this is episode 50, but up till now, I would get home on a Thursday after picking kids up from school. So I'd get home fairly early, like 4 o'clock, and then spend the next 5 hours setting up the background and doing silly things. Last week's background was really good. I was really pleased with myself. But it was a lot of time. And really nobody cares about the background that much. So now I'm just like taking some shortcuts to make sure that I get here and still have a little bit of time for whatever else can happen on a Thursday. The DLC is pretty damn good. So the Burning Shores DLC for Horizon is pretty damn good and opens up more of the story about the new clan and Aloy and the main protagonists. Good. I'm going to have to get that, aren't I? Going to have to get that. But it's not a rush because there is a lot to play. You care. You don't care about the background. You'd be here if there was a blank background. You can't fool me. Peter wants the sausages off the washing line. Oh, I see. You know, there are sausages on a washing line. I mean, there's no washing, so technically it's probably not a washing line, but there are sausages on the sausage line. You spend money like it. You've definitely been spending money, Tony. Speaking of spending money, the Sam, I'm going to make that poster so crooked. Today, my treadmill finally arrived. So those that know, I've got version 1 of a virtual reality treadmill. I ordered the follow-up version 2 of the treadmill that fixes some issues with it. And because there's an offer from the company, if you've got version 1 of the treadmill, they give you version 2 at a discount. But in order to do that, you order it direct from China rather than going through the UK distributor, because the distributor over here won't honor that price. So I ordered it from China, and it's been on a boat for like a month and a half to 2 months. And it arrived today. It arrived today twice. I wasn't home on either occasion. I didn't expect it to arrive today, so I was out working. Only when I got home did I see the little "you weren't here, we tried to deliver this" note from DPD, who I didn't expect to be involved in the process whatsoever. So I had a little scan, had a look to see what was going on. It turns out they tried to deliver it in the morning, and they tried to deliver it like 1 minute before I got home. I had received no notifications or anything along those lines because the mobile number had been entered incorrectly. So I've just got a little trail of events. This DPD driver with a massive freaking VR treadmill tried to deliver it to my house. Went, well, they're not home. Tried to deliver it to the post office, and the post office said, fuck off, we're not taking that, it's huge. So then he tries to deliver it to the house again, and then he gave up. Tomorrow, hopefully, he'll try again, and I'll get my new virtual reality treadmill. So there will be a lot of VR coming up, and I'm sure it'll be brilliant. Aaron, yes, I have played. I finished the Call of the Mountain game on PSVR 2. It's a very, very impressive, strong impression of what that headset can do. And it's a nice VR experience, but I will never play it again now that I finished it. So yeah, I definitely recommend anybody that is sampling the PSVR 2 does give that game a go. How heavy is it, Replicant? I don't actually know. I think the one that I've already got is like about as heavy as me. A bit heavier than me, actually. I think it was 80 kilograms before it was assembled. Not that assembling it makes it heavier, but the dish at the bottom of it was 80 kilograms before I put the rest of the frame on it. So it's 80 to 90 kilograms for the first generation of it. The second one, I don't know if it's heavier or lighter. Did I get stung on import duty? Yes, Peter, but it was all... I was stung beforehand, so it was all taken care of as part of the order. No sting in the tail, like we're not giving it to you until you pay this duty. It's all covered as part of the courier service, if you can call it a courier service, freight service, I don't know. Pretty heavy. It is pretty heavy, Replicant. It has to be, because it's got me on it and I'm pretty heavy too. Do I need to get it upstairs? Fortunately not, no. My VR room / studio that I'm sitting in right now, it may look like a tavern from Horizon Forbidden West, but it is not. It is a converted garage, car shed. I don't know. This used to be a garage, and it's not anymore. So no, it is downstairs. Aaron, you've got Resident Evil Village and No Man's Sky to try out. I've also got Resident Evil Village, but I need to get through the other Resident Evil games before I tackle Village, and then I need to decide if I play that one on PSVR 2 or on the PC stuff with a mod. Sam, if someone was brand new VR player, which set would I recommend? And do I ever get headaches from it? Sam, I did a whole video on this very topic on this very channel. To very briefly summarize, it depends what kind of ecosystem you've already got a foot into. So if you've already got a PlayStation 5, then you should get a PSVR 2. If you've already got a gaming PC, then you should get a Quest. If you've not got anything at all, the video breaks it down a little bit more. Yes, exactly, Darge. Tangs. Joe, can you play My Price is Right on the treadmill? You've got no idea, but you're going to start at $8.99. Tell me how the Price is Right works. Am I supposed to give you any feedback? I mean, I must have to give you some feedback. Do I tell you like higher or lower, or do I just stare at you or get a bit angry? It's not £899. If you need any more information, then I don't know. I've never seen The Price is Right. I don't really watch TV. I play games all my life. No problem at all, Sam. No problem. But the gist of it, again, if you've got a PlayStation, if you've got a PC, it makes all of the difference in terms of what you should get. I do go a little bit more into the differences and why you might want one over the other. Replicant, if you were to guess, you'd go 1,000. So the higher or lower game. So the price that I got it for has been guessed by Replicant. That's the discounted price. It was like £998 or something like that. That's before tax and duty and having it delivered, which was not cheap given where it came from. It's cheaper than you thought. If you try and buy it new in the UK, it's not available yet as far as I can tell. To the RRP in the UK is I think about 1,800, maybe higher. In fact, I'm going to look that up. I'm curious. And this is like, I'm not telling people that they should go out and buy a treadmill like this. It's very niche interest. I'm a massive nerd. This is the product of a bank loan because that's how much of a nerd I am. I put myself into even more debt so that I could play this thing. VR locomotion, VR treadmill. Oh, I'm wrong. So it's currently on sale in the UK for £2,000. On sale down from 2,200, which is absurd. So yeah, I got a decent cut off of that. You should put oil on the floor, it's cheaper. Yeah, I wish I'd thought of that, to be honest. Replicants hacked my email. My email's... Yeah, you don't want to be doing that. Dodge, what are you doing with your keyboard? Hang on. I need to see what I've missed. Evening all, just doing one more code lesson. So you have me muted? Oh my goodness. Dodge is just here staring at my face. And hurting my feelings. It's not hurting my feelings, that's fine. You can hear singing, yeah. I normally, if I have time, I cut out any tracks that have singing in them. But we're just going to have to sit through this one, I'm afraid. And yes, the OST is quite a difficult one this week. I'm not sure if anybody will get it. So don't listen to the lyrics in case they give it away. Well worth going direct to China with that markup. Yes, Replicant, it was well worth going direct. But like I say, it is, they wouldn't normally distribute directly. They were just honouring their very public offer that anybody who had the Gen 1 treadmill could get the Gen 2 one for their Kickstarter price. Tom, how is the treadmill an improvement on the previous one? Quite a few ways. First one is that it's a lot more responsive. Yes, Replicant it is from an RPG. First one is that it's a lot more responsive in terms of... Tony will tell you this when he's been watching it on stream, particularly when you stop. If you're running along and you stop, the treadmill that I've got at the moment has like a second delay. So you'll keep moving and fall off a cliff in VR. That's one improvement. Second improvement that's more substantial probably is it tracks your feet differently. So it's more accomplished in being able to move sideways and backwards rather than just forwards. The treadmill that I've got is fine for running in straight lines. Not so hot when you want to strafe or retreat. So on the new one, I can do that. Loan should have used a credit card and then transfer to 0% credit card over 18 months. Nah, thing is, Aaron Grant, I prefer not to look at the numbers and just pretend. Like I say, I pretend that I've got money that I haven't. I will never look at the debt, therefore it doesn't count. But yes, you're right. A more savvy person might have done just that. Played around with credit cards and transferred things over for the rest of my life to keep that 0%. Retweets appreciated. Yes, they are. If you can retweet that the show is live and get some people over here, that would be welcome. And welcome, by the way, Sauron Grant. Butch Luffy, hello once again. Yeah, thanks for coming coming again. It is much appreciated. Never look at the numbers is fantastic advice for so many things, including like YouTube and stuff like that. Good idea. I've not finished, Tom. I've not finished on the improvements. Waha, you can... If you've ever seen me trying to pick stuff up off the floor on the Gen 1 treadmill, the way that the harness works, it leaves my hands just short of being able to reach things on the ground. So that's a challenge. You just see me kind of skewering myself on the harness trying to pick stuff up off the ground. That won't be the case anymore. The new one's got a bit more flex for ducking and jumping. So I've got maneuverability in that sense. It's got a seat. So if I'm playing a game like a No Man's Sky or a Cyberpunk that goes between vehicle and on-foot behaviors, then I can whip out the little seat and have a sit down to drive around in a car or whatever. It's got a haptic feedback module so that if I am driving a car, it can rumble my butt. And I think the haptics also work on footfall and things like that, but I'm not sure. We'll see on that one. So many things. I'm very excited to get it. In terms of what I'm going to do with the old one, that is a really difficult question because I don't know what I'm going to do with the old one. It's like 80-90 kilograms, very large, and only useful for someone with like size 11 feet and virtual reality. So it's a thing I've got. Fly tipping? No, not fly tipping. Make a comparison video. I can't make a comparison video. It's really difficult to do. Oh, you can swim on the new one as well. It supports just like suspending yourself by the waist and pretending to swim. The size and the weight for shipping makes it very difficult to move on to N1 Yes Replicant. So you're limited to like people local with a big van and size 11 feet and virtual reality and a lot of space in their house and a desire to like move when they're playing games, which a lot of people don't have. I would need to clone another me to sell it to, yeah. So I don't really know what the answer is for that one yet. The important thing is I'm getting a new toy. We're not going to worry about the old toys for the time being. Let's talk about Diablo 4 though. Virtual reality comes up again a bit later because there is some virtual reality stuff going on. For now I want to talk about Diablo 4 because I've mentioned on Saturday on Go Live that I'm like torn on really enjoying it and really not rating it as highly as Diablo 3. And that's a show with 4 people, so I can't go into it in any great depth. But here, got the opportunity to talk about it. And I know a lot of you have played Diablo 4, and I know a lot of you enjoy it, love it, think it's the best thing ever. So first of all, simple question. If you've played both, what do you prefer, Diablo 3 or Diablo 4? Give me your simple answer to that and a little bit of reasoning. And I'm going to tell you why currently I prefer 3. That's the main thing that you need to know is can you still use a crack pipe and play at the same time? I've not actually tried. But as you can't say Diablo 2, I've not played it. I should play it really, I've got it. It was all cheap, I think I got it on the Xbox. I had the intention of going through it before Diablo 4 came out. That went well. But no, I haven't played 2. That's disqualified from the conversation until I've played it. Diablo 3 or Diablo 4, them's your choices. For me, so I'm playing as a sorcerer on Diablo 4, and I'll go through, for the sake of it, things that I do like. I much prefer the visual stylings of 4. It's more gritty aesthetic is good. Everything is crisp, the textures are gorgeous and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't like the online elements of it, the connectivity, the fact that everything is structured. There's like a big difference between single player games and multiplayer games and storytelling within them. There's like pros and cons to each approach. So typically if you have like a multiplayer only game where everybody's online, that's been like historically a big struggle in how you tell a story in that environment, how you make like a player still be important when there's so many players around, and how you have any meaningful progress within a shared world. These are like storytelling challenges that multiplayer games have had to deal with for a long time. Diablo skirts that line reasonably well by just kind of backgrounding everybody else in the world. So the story is kind of delivered as if you're the only one that matters. But there's just loads of other players there for the sake of it, and they'll come with you on adventures. But there are like meaningful differences in things like the world building around when you've got loads of people is different to a single player game. In a single player game, I can go into a dungeon, I can kill everything, and everything is dead. I can go out in the world and I can kill a thing and it's dead. But in a multiplayer game, I go out and kill like a quest monster or something. Somebody else needs to kill it after me, so it has to come back. And you see it all the time. It's really off-putting in Diablo 4. Things respawning is just like... It's weird. You do a big event, they're like, wow, clear the cemetery of all of these ghosts. And you're like, cool, I'll go and do that. And then as you walk away, the big orange circle reappears and you're like, oh, the ghosts are back. And you can do that event on loop as much as you want. It's like, give me a single player version. This is stupid. I don't want to play an online RPG right now. I love online RPGs. But it's weird. Joe, killing shit is fun. You just wish there was more. So this is another thing. Like quite a few people have pointed this out now. In Diablo 4, the world and everything in it, they use similar scaling to what they kind of pioneered with World of Warcraft, in that not just everything scales around you. Like there's been lots of games that do that. So you get to level 20, then whatever area you go to, all of your enemies are also level 20. That's fine. Diablo does this weird thing where all of the enemies are level 20 to you if you're that level, but if another player is there that's level 58, then from their perspective that monster is level 58, and it does like weird numerical conversions so that everybody is fighting a monster their own level, so that a level 58 and a level 2 can both wail on the same monster and kill it in about the same amount of time. Like they can literally be teaming up and fighting together, which is massive advantages in terms of being able to group up with your friends. Welcome, Wayne. Yes, Replicant, the level scaling is pants. Massive advantages in that if I go online now and any of you want to play Diablo 4 and like you're well ahead of me or well behind, it won't really matter. We could still play together, and there's strength in that because like taking down barriers for people that just want to play together and have fun is cool. But as with most things, there's these significant downsides, because no matter how much I'm leveling up my character, no matter what gear I'm equipping, I don't feel any different. Right? I can go back to the starting area of the game. I don't feel any different. It's weird. You preferred how the world tiers... So there's a thing that I disagree on, Replicant. So you preferred how the world tiers worked in Diablo 3. The world tiers in Diablo 3 was one of the only things I didn't like about the game. So... how to explain that one? So Diablo 3 has many world tiers, which is essentially the difficulty setting. So when it gets too easy, you crank the difficulty up a level or two and all of the enemies get tougher and harder. In Diablo 3 there were like, I don't know, 15 world tiers maybe, and I always found that you had to start that game like 2 or 3 tiers up, so expert or whatever it was called, to have anything remotely challenging. And as soon as you equipped any gear, the game became too easy, so you had to manually go in and push the difficulty up. And then as soon as you got gear from the newer difficulty, it became too easy again. So it became a constant act of like forcing yourself to accept more challenge. Joe, you say Destiny 2 is a bit... I mean, have at it. I've not played Destiny 2 enough to make that comparison, but I'm glad to have opinions come this way. So Diablo 4 doesn't have that same world tiering system. It still has world tiers, but there's only, I think, 4 of them, and you only get the option to put them up at, like, after achieving key milestones in the game. So you get to choose between like basically normal or hard difficulty at the start, tier 1 or tier 2, and you can't push it up beyond that until I don't know what milestone, but I've not been allowed yet, and there are only 4, so. To complete a certain like dungeon or raid or challenge or something before you can start pushing it up. And the additional tiers are more kind of end game content. And I will say this up front, actually, I should have said this before. End game content isn't really that interesting to me in these games. I'm much more interested in like the leveling up experience, the campaign, the story, and all the things you do up to that point, rather than the grinding that you can do at the end. For these particular types of games, that is, like, there's definitely a type of player that only cares about the end game, that rushes through the rest of it to get to the maximum level, and then wants to engage in the stuff that I consider repetitive. For me, though, it's all about like the journey more so. And I prefer the way that 4 handles difficulty. Replicant, the loot tables are a bit wank in Diablo 4. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. For me so far, anyway. Again... So in Diablo 3, this ties into the character progression in general, though, and one of the things I preferred in Diablo 3. So let's park the loot for a minute and talk about the fundamentals of leveling up a character. This is my main problem with Diablo 4. Like, all these other things that I've said are minor quibbles, but the thing that's really getting to me is that I'm not enjoying leveling up the character in terms of choices and skills that you unlock as you go through. So in Diablo 4, each time you level up, you get an ability point. There's a couple of other ways that you can accrue like an extra ability point, but if you've played it, you've seen you've got this, like, how would you describe the skill tree in it? I don't really know. You've got these dials of like a core type of skill. When you've invested enough like ability points in there, then it trickles down to the next section. You spend points in there or above, and when you've got enough ability points, it trickles down to the next one, and you unlock them in order, with each like sphere or circle representing a different category of skill for your class. But I'm finding, as a sorcerer in particular, the choices that are actually presented to me are really limiting and really boring. Really boring to me. So I'm a sorcerer, which is perhaps... I'm hoping it's the worst example of how this works. I'm hoping that some of the other classes have a little bit more like elasticity in how you build your classes. As a sorcerer, you've got 3 really distinct elements. You've got fire, ice, and lightning. And you pretty much make that choice right at the start. You can respec all you want to, but you make that fundamental choice right at the start on what kind of sorcerer you want to be, and it limits your choices as you go through. So you can open a new section of the skill tree, and it will have these like 6 skills available. But realistically, if you're a lightning sorcerer, in most cases you'd be hurting yourself badly to take a fire or a frost skill. I'm a frost sorcerer, so I go through and my choices are typically like 2 skills, and they're not necessarily fun. And then beyond those 2 skills, you can spec out each skill a little bit further. So they've got essentially 2 choices each skill that you get. So I've got a blizzard skill. If I put more points into it, I can choose to... Blizzard's a bad example. I can't remember what the extra frills are for it. But you can add a couple of like distinct frills to each skill to make them behave like how you want them to personally, and that's as far as the personalization goes. And then you tie that in with the loot, like Replicant says, where the loot tables are a bit wank. The loot doesn't really change how you play very much. You just need to find loot that complements the build that's been dictated for you. So I just need to find loot that suits an ice sorcerer, and there's not really anything too interesting about it. Conversely, on Diablo 4, on Diablo 4, I level up, I get my 1 ability point, and I go, I spend it, and maybe I've just ranked up a skill a little bit to do a little bit more damage, something boring like that. Diablo 3, I get a level up, and it just like pings things at me that I can go and play with. If I was a sorcerer on Diablo 3 and I got to level like 30, it would be, you've got a new skill in this category and in this category, and you've got runes for this skill and this skill and this skill. Knock yourself out, go and play, build a character that you like, and see how it feels. I have so much more fun building a Diablo 3 character than I do a Diablo 4 character so far. Somebody who plays a barbarian, please tell me that it's not the same. Like, characters that just hit stuff, are they still really restricted into like an equivalent of my core essences? My frost, lightning, fire, what does a barbarian have? Do they have flexibility to choose amongst like all of the skills, or are they shoehorned into a little, well, pigeonholed into a particular spec that the devs have already like got in mind for you? I thought actually more people would have stronger opinions on Diablo 4, but you haven't really, have you? Like, is that scaling situation the same in Endgame? Joe, I've not got to Endgame, so I'm going to say I don't know. That's all I can say, really. Thing is, the loot that drops in tier 1 and 2 are exactly the same, so you may as well do the campaign in tier 1 to get through it quicker. That's interesting. So I assumed that it was different, but one thing that I find on the loot, this is again a difference between Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. In Diablo 3, you had an at-a-glance representation of whether loot was going to make you do more damage or take less damage or get more healing. And so it's like taking less damage and getting more healing were kind of the same, but there was a duality between doing more damage and being better at surviving. So as you were playing, you could kind of like get a feel for it and decide what you needed. So like if you're taking too much damage, then you'd start looking to gear towards or spec towards being a bit better at surviving. And you had this like responsive play in how you build your character. The same with the skills. So in Diablo 3, every skill that you've got has 6 runes that change how that skill functions and looks. So if you're I don't know, like a barbarian and you've got your basic bash skill, you might have a rune that turns it into like frost damage that freezes your enemies, or a different one that turns it poisonous and does some other effect, or a different one that makes you hit faster, or whatever else it may be. But what you'd get is when you level up and it would make a new rune available or something like that. You'd go and play around with it and it would change the way that you built your character, because you'd go into combat and you'd get that feel like, oh, I was doing fine with this amount of damage and I was using this ability to heal, but now I've changed this rune, I'm kind of like over healing now, so I can afford to go back to that skill, flip it over a little bit and change my build up and find something that works for me. And the like anecdotal thing that I say is I've been playing it with my family, so my wife and my two lads, and as they're building their characters, they're like, oh, I don't know what skills to use. What skills should I use for my character? And the correct answer in Diablo 3 is like, read the description and see what sounds fun, and then try it and see if you like it. And Diablo 4 doesn't feel like that. So I miss that greatly. Diablo 4 feels like you're pushed towards min-maxing right from the start. Google it. Google what? What do I Google? No, that's not the correct answer for Diablo 3. Diablo 3, you read it and you play and you have fun. Diablo 4, it feels so laid out in front of you by the developer. Like, you're a frost sorcerer, so these are the correct skills and these are the correct perks. And then you just stat up from there and min-max it. So that's all a bit of a shame for me. Google the different builds. I don't feel at the moment that I necessarily need to Google it. If I wanted to get into like min-maxing endgame, then I would possibly Google, like, I don't know, how much weight I should put onto intellect over damage or something like that, but not much else. Not much else. Baz, you're a druid, aren't you? Druids the same. Like, do they feel inflexible? So I don't know what druids, you get storm thorns maybe, and the bear and the stuff. I don't know. Do you have to, like, does it kind of almost pre-select and dictate what skills you're supposed to pair together? Or do you have a lot of flexibility to go between the different schools, as it were? Peter, you've only watched me playing it. Early on, I seemed quite keen on it. I still am partly keen on it, Peter. It still looks good. It still sounds brilliant. Just the more I've played it, the more these like quibbles have got on my nerves. I will still get through it eventually. I just like 3 more at the moment. The other thing that 4 has that really works against it for me is reputation grinds and things that take me out of it, cosmetics and storefronts that I think will get worse over time in that game. But I don't know. I don't hate 4. I really liked Diablo 3. Diablo 4 is like kind of regret not waiting for cut price. But I do think one thing that I really very recently started enjoying Diablo 3 was the hardcore modes, the risk of death making everything that bit more exciting. So I'm thinking Diablo 4 might pick up interest for me when I start doing hardcore runs with other classes. I'm just seeing how far I go before I tragically die. It's always funny when you tragically die, right? Anyway, unless anyone has anything really strong to put forwards on Diablo 4 or anything at all, actually, if you want to say anything about it, I was hoping actually, I was hoping someone would try and convince me, tell me where I'm wrong, tell me where Diablo 4 is actually better, tell me what like key function I'm missing or what's going to open up as I go through the game to make me enjoy it more, or to make me realize that actually it all comes together to deliver something better than 3. Tony, Diablo 4 never met the Butcher. I haven't met the Butcher. I should also say I'm only level 26, maybe? Something like that. I'm not far into the game. So it's possible that there are just mechanics and systems that haven't revealed themselves to me yet. Tony, don't know. First Diablo that you've played and you're enjoying it. You're at Act 4. Liar. You played Diablo 3 with me. Filthy, rotten liar. I know you didn't play it much though. You just played around when I was doing hardcore and you kept getting both of us killed. I say, I will play it more. Although today I played something absolutely brilliant. Something that literally made me reevaluate how I think about a particular platform. I'm saying this like you've got opportunities to guess what it is, but there's no way that you're going to guess what it is. Was it VR? It was VR, which is going to limit the guesses entirely. I shouldn't have answered that part, because I would have thought most people's go-to guesses would be either like something Nintendo or something mobile phone, because they're the platforms that I don't like. I'm not going to say I found a game like massively brilliant and now I like a platform that I already liked. Space Denizen, welcome. Replicant, nice try on the guess. Afropunk, Synapse, no, I don't have early access to things. Welcome, by the way. I'm looking forward to Synapse. End Dreams are very smart with how they use virtual reality technology, and the stuff that they're doing in that game definitely plays to the strengths of the headset. So Synapse will probably be brilliant, but no, it's not that. It's like, it really sums up my channel in a way. I should talk about it. I talk about this being the past, present, and future of gaming's all converging. The game that I've played today that took my breath away, that made me realize actually a particular platform is much better than I gave it credit for, was Quake 3 Arena. No, you didn't know, you liar. Did you know? Would you have guessed? No, I didn't think so. I played Quake 3 Arena natively on the Quest, and I've said for a long time that I'm not a big fan of the native VR headsets, that form factor, the hardware being strapped to your face. With very few exceptions, I quite like, I've not played it properly, but I'm quite impressed by Resident Evil 4 on the Quest. But typically I steer well clear of the native games on headsets. But I played Quake 3. So Quake 3 is a bit of a weird one because it's not like available from the Meta store. You have to sideload it, so you have to get side quest and then go into their massive library of games and find it there. It's converted by... Who called you a liar? Who called you a liar? How dare they? Quake 3 Arena on VR. Yes, Replicant. So there's a mod team called Team Beef, and they convert lots of like retro PC games to play natively on Quest, and sometimes on Pico and things like that, but mostly on Quest. And Quake 3 Arena playing natively on the Quest Pro is perfect. Space Denizen, so you're already aware of how these work. You've been playing Quake 1 on the Quest 1. Quake 3 is incredible. It's incredible to play in VR. I couldn't believe it. Like right from the start, when the logo comes up, I say, oh, this logo's looking a bit crispy. Like normally the dashboard on the Quest, when you're in the home environment, like it's got some aliasing. It doesn't look very nice. You get over it because it's just like a launch pad to get into proper content, but it doesn't look that nice. The menus don't even look that nice. But then Quake 3 Arena's logo came up and I was like, oh, this is a bit crispy. And I went into it. You have to go through a bit of faff to get the full game on there. I've got the maps that come in it by default as its demo mode. And I only played against the AI just to see what it would, like how it worked. I wanted to know how the aiming worked, whether you had like proper guns or whether you had to use your eyesight. Like some VR mods will just shoot down the center of your eyesight, which is not really what I wanted. But I played Quake 3 Arena. It's proper, feels like an actual VR game. You can look around, you can run around independently, and you can use your guns independently. You can pull them off to the side and shoot behind you and all this kind of stuff. Everything, Patrick, you've missed everything. All you need is the freeware for Quake 1. So that's... You still need to try Return to Castle Wolfenstein. That's another one that I've installed that's supposed to be really, really good. That's one of their more recent ones. But I was like... It blew my mind how good Quake 3 Arena is inside that headset running natively. So I'm actually thinking I will play that online. They've got... All of the online stuff is working. There's a dedicated set of servers for VR people. For Quake 3, you only need freeware. Either way, Space Denizen, I think I've got Quake 3 anyway, so I've not followed the instructions for what you need to do to move the additional content over to the headset. I've just gone into its demo mode and done it's like 4 maps and whatever to play around. Quake, bad for motion sickness. Hell yes, it would be terrible for motion sickness, Joe. You'd need to be very comfortable in VR to play it for any length of time. And I don't think... I don't know. I was surprised at how little I got motion sickness on it because I'm quite susceptible to it. I only had like 1 game on it. I was in there for probably 10 minutes or so and I didn't feel sick in that time. But I would imagine you would feel very sick if you were prone to it and you were playing that, because it's very fast, and if you want to play properly you are going to be doing all of the kind of trigger movements that would make you sick. You're going to be like strafing and spinning and all sorts. Tom, bloody hell, you had to walk back to the shop because you're going senile. You forgot to get some critical ingredient for your hunter's chicken. Tony, Patrick Miss Peter announcing that he bought Sega. Peter bought Sega? Cool. Yeah. Painful Discourse, the Quake 2 Ramster remaster is leaking. So probably a QuakeCon Shadow Drop. So Quake 2 is another one that I could play entirely in VR on the Quest. That's exciting. Quake 2 remaster. There's already Quake 2 fully path traced on the PC. The remaster, I don't know what they're going to do with it as to whether that's interesting. If it's a Shadow Drop, then that makes me think it's probably a little bit underwhelming. I don't know. Oh, welcome back, Darja. Are you listening? Are you a coding wizard now? The Deep Rock mod is better than ever. Oh, maybe I'm going to need that. I didn't like Pancake Deep Rock very much. What makes it so good, Space Denizen? Why is Deep Rock so good in VR? Because I reckon that's a PC mod, right? Because then I could do... then I could treadmill it. The treadmill kind of works with native Quest stuff, but then I have to plug stuff in and, I don't know, dick around and get it working. PC stuff is easier and ready to go. You forgot the critical ingredient for your Szechuan pork noodles. Which was the pork or the noodles? Because those are surely the most critical ingredients. Peter, bring back Jet Set Radio. Quake 1 remaster was cool. It's not a remake, but retro start. Yeah, painful discourse. So I'm assuming that the Quake 2 one will be in the same vein as the Quake 1 remaster, which I didn't touch. Not because like I don't want to. I guess I don't want to. Only because there are many other things to play. Large procedural caves, grapple hook, darkness and flares, co-op monster, beers and guns. Those all sound like things that could be good. Yes, Space Denizen. So do you play that regularly? Episode 13, welcome. Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio. Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio. You mean Jet Set Radio Future on one of those, don't you? Tango Games could do it with Sega and MS. Tango Games, based on Hi-Fi Rush, can definitely pull off an art style that would fit, right? I'm not sure. Yeah, they could. As long as they can get the quirky music right. Baz, you're sorry your phone ran out. You're a druid, but you're not keen on him. Seems everyone's playing as a necromancer, and they seem to have better skills or more of a choice. So you're not getting like masses of choice on the druid either. I thought the necromancer would probably be like kind of pigeoned into. I know they've got blood and bone. I don't know what their like third pillar is. But yeah, necromancers are going to be easy mode like they always are. You mean the Hi-Fi Rush guys? Yeah, I know you mean the Hi-Fi Rush guys. You're just playing Halo Infinite multiplayer. Are you grinding through the Season 4 stuff? Ranking up and all of those kind of things. I've heard a few people say that they're enjoying Season 4. A new season of Deep Rock Galactic. I didn't even know that was a seasonal game. What happens on seasons on that? I've heard in terms of VR mods that Risk of Rain 2 is a very, very good flat to VR mod. And at some point later this year, Prey Dog's Unreal Engine stuff will happen, and there will be more games than I can possibly hope to play, all ready to go. Picking up the phone to reply. Oh, you don't need to do that. No. Concentrate on your Halo Infinite. I don't want to cost your team a drastic loss because I asked questions. Space Denizen, you played Risk of Rain a couple of days ago and you love it. Oh, I'm going to need to sort that out as well. So much to do, and at the moment I just want to play Quake 3. I want to get into the online mode and blow shit up. What's the difference between pixel refresh and panel refresh? Oh god, Tony. Pixel refresh you don't want to touch, basically. You can do damage with that one. It's a real weird thing that I can't actually explain to you, Tony, because I don't know myself. But you can separate out the timings of your pixels refreshing independently of the panel refresh if you really get into like your custom resolution utility and stuff like that. I really don't recommend touching it because you can literally damage your screen. But your choice. Replicant, you can get into Risk of Rain 2 Pancake though, right? Not VR, because everything's better in VR. Infection in Halo is cool. Is it like Infection in other games? But episode, you don't need to answer this. You concentrate on what you're doing. Is Infection like asymmetrical, like random as to whether you're the infected or not, and you have to go and get everybody else and turn them infected? And do you rank up in the ranked modes or the battle passes and all the rest of it by doing these other things? Space Denizen Pancake can play with VR mod players on Risk of Rain. I didn't even know Risk of Rain was multiplayer. I would hope that I can get a very good VR frame rate in everything. Maybe even Cyberpunk if I'm lucky. That's what stupid big graphics card is for. That I'm going to ignore when I play Quake 3 Arena. So, the Quake 3 Arena thing anyway segues on to the other minor topic, because I don't think people will want to focus on it very much, but Meta Plus. So this week, Nyla, you can't use your microphone. Do you play as a big eye? Do you play as a big eye? I always play as a big eye. What are you talking about, painful discourse? This is probably something that would make loads of sense, but I've lost track of the conversation somewhere. Halo Battle Passes are very cool. You can't switch between them and work towards any of them. You're working on Echoes Within and going to the Infected Battle Pass. Very good. You can earn coins for each one so that you don't have to buy it again. Yeah, that was one thing, conceptually at least, when they launched Halo. They had a nice idea for Battle Passes where you could kind of pocket them and keep them and work on them in your own time. Yeah, you can switch between them. That's an improvement over other Battle Pass systems, in that it doesn't like try and push the daily grind and FOMO onto you quite so hard, because you can switch up and get back to them later and do things in your own time. So I like the idea of that, and I like the fact that you can make your enemies whatever color you want. Those are good things in Halo. It feels nice to play, but I haven't touched it for quite a long time. One of the skins is an eye with legs. Oh, you're talking about Quake 3. That's Orb. No, I used to play as Uriel, and I used to fight against Tank Junior or Kill, usually Kill, because they had metal feet. So back when I was playing Quake 3 a lot, on PC with mods and stuff, you could choose how you saw all of your enemies. Yeah, Orb was the eye on legs. I played as Uriel because he was quite muted with his strafe jumping noises and grunts. Quake 3 was a game that was well ahead of its time in terms of audio and how you could pick out enemies' positions from what you could hear. Replicant also addicted to Quake 3 Arena back in 99, 2000. Then you would love to sample it in VR as well. I could not believe how good it was. Just like how well it holds up as a game to go and visit. And when you do die, when you die in it, it takes you up to like a bird's eye view, and you see the whole map as like a little diorama. It puts you back in it. It's so good. It's so good. I want to play it more. And I will. And I will. I'm going to set it up properly, shoot some people, probably get absolutely destroyed. But it'll be worth it. What's next? Yeah, so Meta Plus. So, like everybody else, Meta have started doing a subscription service that's very much in line with Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus. So you don't need it for multiplayer or anything silly like that, but it's 2 free games a month from the Quest native catalog, which is why I started into the little rabbit hole of playing native Quest games to see what it's actually capable of, whether I'm interested in this service or not, because I've always been quite disinterested in the native Quest games. Much more interested in PC VR and PlayStation VR as high-end experiences. So yeah, I went looking at that. It works the same as most other services. If you're subscribed, you get 2 games a month. You have to go in and redeem them, but so long as you do redeem them within that month, you keep your access to them for as long as you're a subscriber. If you cancel your subscription or let it lapse and then resubscribe, you'll still have the full catalogue of games that you had before. So it's like win-win, because you get games at a good price, you build up your catalogue, and from Meta's perspective, if you've been doing that, you're way less likely to shop around at other headsets when they come about. The first 2 games on it are Pixel Ripped 1995, that looks quite good, and Pistol Whip, which is very good. But they are... most of the library of Quest native games are things that I'm not massively interested in. Quake Remake would be cool. It was rumoured some time ago, but now it's quiet again. So Quake is a difficult one for handling going forwards. So Quake Champions on the PC, they tried to capture what made Quake 3 so good with Quake Champions, and they kind of fucked up by giving all of they went for like a mix between Quake 3 and a hero shooter. They gave almost classes to the characters and special abilities and things like that, and they stubbornly refused to introduce a mode that was just an arena shooter. So it felt quite good to play, but it wasn't Quake 3, and they never sorted it out. Mother Gunship Forge is next month, yes, and there's another, I can't remember, they have announced the other one next month as well. But for me, it's quite a limited selection of games that they got to offer in their subscription service that I would want to play. Iron Man and Resident Evil 4 are kind of the big flagship ones. Their Peaky Blinders game as well is probably relatively high end. But a lot of Quest native games are also available on other platforms, be it PlayStation or PC, and generally better played on those other platforms. And I don't know, I've generally avoided it because I just didn't rate the native experiences that highly until I got into Quake 3 Arena, and now I'm like, whoa, reevaluate, and I bought a year subscription and I'm going to play everything. I've been figuring out how to capture it well so that I can record and or stream them. And I welcome native meta games onto the podium as the pinnacle of gaming with other virtual reality headsets. I'm still going to be on PC and PlayStation more for the high-end experiences, but I was so impressed by Quake. And now I understand that these native Quest games do have a place in my life, even if it's just Quake 3 Arena. You're playing Dead Hook tonight. Dead Hook it took me about 6 attempts at reading the title to see what the game was actually called. This is Dead Book? Dead Whore? No. Oh, Dead Hook. Okay, it's not a good name for a game anyway, but fonting was like, don't know what that is. Is it good, Space Denizen? I see the thing that I have on Quest games is like things like Robo Recall and Blade and Sorcery and stuff like that. If they have a kind of big sibling PC VR version, I'll always play the PC VR version instead. But now I know Quake 3 Arena and hopefully some other good retro ports are available and I'll play those. So Painful Discourse, how do you differentiate from Doom though when you do a Quake remake? Yeah, I mean, this is like Phil Spencer was obviously wearing a Hexen t-shirt. Hexen might be easier to bring back in light of Doom being there. Quake and Doom always had quite different architecture and stylings. And Doom has very specifically moved away from the kind of arena multiplayer experience that you'd expect from Quake. So the differentiation is there. I don't think they'd have a massive problem. Quake has always been like extraterrestrial gothic, I guess, and Doom has always taken you to hell, so they can be visually very different, but in terms of like, weapons and feel, pretty similar. Doom 2016 tried to do the kind of arena that you might expect from Quake. The multiplayer mode kind of fell on its face a little bit though, but Doom Eternal changed to asymmetrical demons versus Slayers weird mode, right? So there's a lot of room for Quake to exist and be something different to Doom. There's also like a matter of time, right? Because Doom came out in 2016 and Doom Eternal came out, I don't know, like a couple of years ago maybe. I can't actually remember what year it came out. 2021 I'm going to say, and I'm probably wrong. But in terms of like release cadence, maybe it's good to let Doom have a little rest and bring out a Quake in the next fast-paced shooter window. I think Hexen was a fair hint though. I think we're going to see something there, and Hexen being more magic, still occult, it's an occult magic based thing, could stand quite separately to both Doom and Quake. Didn't we play it at Eggs or something like that? Play what? Quake? What did we get kicked out of? Doom? You played old Doom. You played like original Doom there, I think. Or Doom 1 or Doom 2, I can't remember. No, not Doom. You do. Oh, that was the Xbox show. Yeah, XO19. You're right. We played Doom Eternal at XO19. You are correct. There was a demo of that. So that probably came out like 2019, 2020 then. Good shout. Hexen was a Heretic spin-off. Yes. Yes, it was. I've played Hexen at some point. Hexen was also the key to unlocking Death Tank on the Sega Saturn, which was Weird trivia. If you had Duke Nukem 3D on the Sega Saturn and you had a save file for Hexen on the same Saturn, then you could unlock Death Tank Spy without having to shoot every toilet in Duke Nukem 3D. Those were the two options that you had. You had Duke Nukem 3D disc in your Sega Saturn. You could have a save file where you destroyed every single toilet in the game, and that would unlock Death Tank Spy. If you wanted a shortcut, you had to have a save file for Hexen. So I got Hexen rented from Blockbuster to access Death Tank Spy, which I played more than I ever played Duke Nukem 3D. Hexen was good, but bloody difficult. I don't remember a lot about it. I played it in the weekend that I had it rented, but I don't remember a lot about it. Good times, good times. Played a lot of Death Tank Spy, so it was worth the rental. You know things, you get points. Yeah, you can have some points, that's fine. You remember it being difficult. I think I might be wrong on my trivia here, but I think Hexen was the first one of its ilk to try verticality in a level. Which isn't to say that no other games had like heights to them, but Hexen was the first one that had levels overhang themselves, if that makes sense. Because they had figured some stuff out in how they build their maps. I might be wrong there, but that's my like head canon for how first-person shooters came along and what that one brought to the table. Yeah, it was good. Thank you, Replicant. I'm not crazy. Right, I had a different topic and I can't remember what it was, so I'm going to quickly flick over. Nobody wants to talk about Meta Plus, do they? Has anybody subscribed to Meta Plus besides me? Because it's a subscription and it's virtual reality, so I have to. Did anybody else subscribe to Meta Plus? Topics. So Diablo 4, I'm reading this from the tweet that I stuck up a little while ago. Diablo 4, Meta Plus, Quake 3 Arena. Oh, that's it. That's all of my topics. Woohoo. Replicant, you should start building up your catalogue. Tony subs to everything, even my OnlyFans. Tony, that's not the real me. If ever you're in doubt, check the feet. Mine have a tattoo. So, if it's not got that, you're looking at the wrong OnlyFans. When can you go live on TV? Oh, you're there. Hang about. So, Isla's in the waiting room for Discord. I did not notice. I don't know what she wants to say, but I'm going to try and bring that in and hope that it works. I haven't used the Discord functionality on this show for a long time. So, if it doesn't work out, please accept my apologies. Bring Isla in there. Isla, can you hear me? Say something. Okay, so I can hear Isla. I'm going to bring Isla into the stream. Isla, are you not Cameroon? So everyone that's waiting, bear with me a second, because complication. You see, you just ignore what you can see, Isla. This is just to put you in the right place. I know you can't see anything. Okay. Your microphone is fine. You're about to be live. Ready? Oh, look, it's Isla on Discord. Why are you here? You have a minute. 2 minutes.
Oh, no, wait, that's not enough. I got too many things.
Okay.
Look, I got stuff to show. It's show and tell. Ready?
I am ready.
Are you ready?
The audience is ready.
Good.
I can't see chat while you're there. So bear with me, everybody that's watching.
It was my birthday on Saturday, and at work on Thursday, I got given a lot of presents that were to do with video games. Not all of it is video game stuff that is like super relevant to me, but it's all really cool, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, look, wait, I need to be able to see my camera so I can see if it's in frame or not. Okay, this is a Pikachu pen that I got, and it goes click, 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 and it has lots of different colours. This is a Garfield socks. That's not really video games, but it's Garfield socks. I got a PlayStation water bottle.
No,
Delicious.
Pony.
But I have an Xbox like biro pen
No,
thingy.
export. You're banned from every podcast.
No.
No, Pony.
I'm gonna like get my life sorted out with this PlayStation like book of lined paper. I think that's most of the console war-y stuff. Oh no, wait, I've also got a PlayStation clicky pen with all the colours as well.
Oh, definitely Pony, like only one Xbox thing. But you got green hair, so
Yeah.
Xbox.
Okay, this is my favourite one. Minecraft pencil case!
Oh, nerd.
Don't bully me, I'm really excited about this. And look, it's got that one and some, I think these are little sticky notes, and a ruler, and pencils with little Minecraft stuff on them, and erasers, and a pencil sharpener with creeper. Okay, I think that's all the Minecraft pencil case. Got Minecraft journal thingy, or diary, whatever it is. Video games lunchbox. Oh, there's stuff in here. I can hear stuff rattling in here. Oh, that probably isn't
it's an
my
ancient sandwich.
No, I haven't used it yet. I'm just wondering if maybe there's more in it, like a Russian doll thingy. Wait, let's just.
There is not.
There is. Look, game over. Ah, there's two. I didn't even know there was more.
Oh.
Okay, wait. Got a Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Squishy stress ball. Squish, 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 squish. And then I got Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know what this is. You plan your life with it, I think. But everything, I feel like that's most of it. Wait, I got two Sonic the Hedgehog.
Run out of time.
No, I haven't run out of time. Shut up. Look, lanyards, and I did the Pikachu pen, right? And okay, also while I'm here, Animal Crossing Pez dispensers that I bought at the petrol station.
Oh no, yeah, Nintendo nerd. Time's up. Time's up.
Okay, bye.
Right. So happy birthday, Isla, for whenever that was. Isla, you can see yourself out of the Discord. And I need to bring chat back. Here we go. So, pencils are great. Who's the heretic that bought the PlayStation items? All from her work. I don't know. So, we're at the end now. So if anybody else, I mean, that's how Discord works. I meant to put a little timer up, but I'm sure that was about 2 minutes, right? If you want to come on and say anything to the world or to me, the option's there, camera or not. For the time being, though, we're getting to the end. So let's do the questions, right? It's not too late to submit questions if you want to, but we are doing the last bit. You got extra for all your hard work. Congratulations on the stuff. Okay, first question, please. You can come on camera and show all of the Pokemon cards that you've been sorting through. You can, Patrick. There's like a 2-minute limit. Oh, Replicant. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. Isla, we can say, so you have a fridge in your room. Am I envious? I'm not envious. I can get a fridge if I want. I'll just take more bank loans. Oh, you got extra time. I don't actually know how long that was. First question was a chair emoji, but you weren't allowed to pick it. Don't fully understand the chair emoji. What's the Discord? Episode 13, it's the Game on Daily Discord. Nyla could put a link there if she's feeling like it. If you're not already in it, it is the one that we use for Game on Daily stuff. I say we use it, I'm never there. I don't really touch Discord. But you are very welcome to jump in there. And there are people talking. Patrick talks, Tony talks. Does Gaz use it? Probably. He's definitely in, like there or thereabouts. Darge talks. If you want to jump on and talk on the show today, though, it is the Q&Asa waiting rooms on the left. Doesn't matter which waiting room you go to. Jump in there, though, and you can come on and talk if you want to. Yeah, Patrick uses it. Too much. Maybe I should start using that. I'm trying to avoid going anywhere near Twitter because I hate that place. Waiting room Knuckles is the best waiting room. Better than waiting room B and waiting room 2. You've joined episode 13. If you are looking to come and like, have a chat, stick yourself in a waiting room. If you're not, then that's fine as well. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's come from... This is going to be the last topic, and it could potentially be long or short, depending on what you bring to it, everybody. So the FTC versus Microsoft and Activision, are they against Activision? I don't know. FTC versus Microsoft, we'll say. Filing for a preliminary injunction on the ABK stuff. We don't typically talk about ABK stuff here because it's boring as shit. But court case has been a bit of a circus. So tell me about it. I'm relying on you for this. I've like passively absorbed bits and pieces of what are happening, but definitely not been sitting in there like listening to the court case or following it tweet by tweet or anything along those lines. So what I need you to do is tell me what's been interesting, and then we can bounce around from there. One thing that was interesting today that I did catch was Satya Nadella, Mr. King of Microsoft, came out and said he was asked about exclusives and said essentially that he doesn't like exclusives, doesn't like console exclusives in general, has no love for them. If it was up to him, like he'd rather that console exclusives just didn't exist, that all games went to all platforms. And he says that it's not really up to him because like Sony are the dominant player in the market and they dictated that exclusives are like part of how you compete. So it is what it is. So let's go hypothetical. In a hypothetical universe where console exclusives weren't a thing, where God of War came out on Xbox and Switch and Halo came out on PlayStation and everything just went everywhere, what do you think that would look like for like PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo? How do you think they would compete with each other? Would like Sony drop out of making consoles entirely, or would they find other ways to set PlayStation apart from Xbox? Services, more money would be made. See, it's an area where I'm with Satya mostly in that I don't like exclusives particularly. We've spoken about exclusives here before. Like the exception for me is if you're making a game that really leverages something unique about a piece of hardware. So if you were making a game that was like for the Kinect or something like that, then make that exclusive because you're doing something unique with it and it just makes sense. Like you're delivering a vision that's based on a unique piece of hardware. If you're not doing that, if you're making a game that could run on anything, I generally don't care for it being exclusive. I'd rather Final Fantasy 16 was on Xbox, and I'd rather Starfield was on PlayStation. Like I don't lose out in that scenario myself. The exception to that is funding. So like the advantage of exclusives at the moment is that it is the reason that Sony are willing to spend 200 million on a Horizon game, and that Microsoft are willing to spend whatever they've been spending to get these games made. So I appreciate it in that sense, and this is particularly kind of poignant when you look at virtual reality, because virtual reality doesn't have a massive sustainable audience for anybody to be investing loads of money in it apart from the platform holders. And if you look at that space and see like devices coming to market without an audience, and you see the need for a platform holder to invest money to make enticing exclusives to get people onto the platform, I appreciate them in that regard. But broadly speaking, like in the terms that Satya used, I don't really know how you say his name, but hopefully that won't offend anyone. In those terms, like I would broadly agree that exclusives aren't that great for anyone. I'd rather things were just available. I actually think competition would thrive in different ways in that environment. Competing on price is an example. Like actually making the hardware and services stand for themselves, I think would probably be in our best interest. But Gaz would disagree with that really strongly. Like Gaz loves exclusives and stuff because they fuel the console wars and all the rest of it. And a lot of people would take the same point of view as him in that they see it as like healthy competition. So exclusives fuel certain people's drive to make the biggest, best games, to beat their competitors and all the rest of it. It's not something I particularly subscribe to, but I see the perspective, I see what he's saying. What do we think, though, broadly, in a hypothetical world where there's not? Because it's like there's easy parallels to draw, because you look at like movies and music and all the rest of it. You don't get exclusive content for your Samsung TV versus your LG TV, so Samsung and LG have to deliver the best panels at the best prices to try and get you to buy them. That would be a nice place for consoles to be, if they had to deliver the best hardware and the best prices to get you on board. Kratos, welcome. If Xbox was making exclusives 8-1 to Sony, do you really think they'd feel the same? All you hear is whining from Xbox. I don't know, Kratos. Like, I get what you're saying, that what they're saying suits a particular narrative and agenda. They've got a very strong one at the moment, in that they want to prove that they're not going to take things away from other platforms. So I get what you're saying in that they definitely have an incentive to say that, whether it's true or not, right? But I also, like, it does align with the way that Microsoft behave outside of Xbox. Office works on a Mac, right? Like, they don't typically... I'm not saying that Microsoft are saints in the way that they behave and leverage their software and position, but exclusives aren't really what they do. Sarah and Grant, a couple of exclusives are fine to draw people to their system. So on the one hand, I think like you could argue that Sony and Microsoft have a responsibility to deliver like the best of the best on their own hardware for the first 2 or 3 years, to make people want to buy it, to build that audience up, and to get the ecosystem thriving in a way that publishers can go and make money on that platform. So it makes sense, like if you're Sony and you're desperately trying to get enough people to buy a PlayStation 5 that you can then put your feet up and let EA and Activision and all the rest of them make their money, then you're going to be throwing these hundreds of millions of dollars, and exclusives do make sense in that world. Episode 13, Microsoft aren't as evil as people make out. I don't know yet. So I think they are super evil, because they shut down my favorite game. Bastards. No, it's not so simple. I'm skeptical of Microsoft long term, and whether them getting into a dominant position will long term be good or bad for us. But I do think when people like Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are talking with like a genuine passion for games and stuff, I kind of trust that they're sincere, at least to a degree. We've obviously seen various things from this case that show they're not always to be taken at face value. But I do think that they at least understand what gaming is. Those people won't be around forever, so who knows. Patrick, you think very simple. Bethesda and the previous purchases were to make exclusives for the Xbox ecosystem. Activision Blizzard King is just a giant revenue stream. It's not just a giant revenue stream. There are definitely multiple angles to it, particularly the whole mobile thing that they've got going on with King. Kratos, Sony wouldn't whine. Nintendo screwed Sony years back. That's why they became who they are today. Oh, history is a difficult one. Like, Sony definitely came into the market very aggressively and hurt precious Sega. Yes, they had. I mean, the history of PlayStation with the deal that they had with Nintendo that fell apart. It's told as a story of revenge. Nintendo did Sony dirty, so Sony released the PlayStation 1 out of spite and vengeance. But I don't think spite and vengeance are actually a big factor. I think it was more to do with vision and opportunity. That the opportunity spurned in terms of their relationship with Nintendo. But rather than drop it, they took it with both hands and released the PlayStation. But they definitely did go in heavy with the money atting in their early days. Candy Crush just prints money. Yeah. That's one of the other things that did come out of the court cases. There is an expectation. That doesn't make sense. There is an expectation that the deal is like revenue positive within the first year. There's no way it's making back its 70 billion though. Curious. Sony killed the Dreamcast and you're never going to forgive them for that. Or it's not like it's not certain that Sega would have succeeded in that parallel universe without Sony doing things, but yes, when they money out the likes of Grand Theft Auto and Tomb Raider, they definitely did Sega damage. And I did love the Dreamcast as well. In fact, I got last weekend, was it last weekend? Probably. I got a whole load more Dreamcast games, actual proper boxed ready to play Dreamcast games. I'm not likely to actually get around to putting them in the Dreamcast and playing it, but what a precious console. They killed the Dreamcast and made Dreamcast guy. Oh no. If that's Sony's fault, now they're the bad guys. Yes, Dreamcast was an awesome console. Well ahead of its time. Very pioneering. Like, very significant to my own taste in games. I've said before, I'll say again though, Phantasy Star Online and Quake 3, the Dreamcast introduced me to not just the games, but the genres and the world of online gaming, which has been very significant ever since. How about that Sea Smash? I've not played Sea Smash Space Denizen. It had a demo, but I didn't get around to it. I heard some people say that it's brilliant, and some people say that it's weirdly limited in how you can move. Dreamcast was awesome. Dreamcast had some great games. Yes, it did. It had a modem. It had online games. It had Choo Choo Rocket, but that one doesn't count. It had Quake 3 Arena and Phantasy Star Online. What more do you need? And then it had its own proper Sega games. Like I know Power Stone isn't a Sega game, but from that era. Power Stone 1 and 2, Shenmue. What else did it have? Sonic Adventure. Many other things. Sauron Grant, there's a difference between paying studios to keep games off of a competitor and buying studios as an investment. Yes, Sauron Grant, sometimes. It's a tricky one, that, because typically our understanding of where this money is being spent and what it means can get muddied. I agree, like, when money is spent to stop other people accessing a game, that is not something that I'm very keen on, but you get all of these, like, murky stories like Street Fighter V, Titanfall and things like that, where you could spin it both ways. You could say that that was investment into making content, or you could spin it as denying content from other players. And there's lots and lots of examples that could easily be spun in either direction. It's not always so clear what's happening. Soul Calibur 2, yes, episode 13, good shout. And Jet Set Radio. I played a lot of Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. It was brilliant. It's a shame that Soul Calibur hasn't changed since then. The new ones are exactly the same as the Dreamcast one, but without the cool single player mode. You spent a lot of time on Quake 3 Arena, you loved the metal music. Too bad the remake didn't have the same music. See, Quake 3 Arena though, like I say, was way ahead of its time in audio, so you can enjoy the music, but the correct way to play was to turn the music off. So I can't really remember Quake 3's music, because typically I was listening for robot feet across the map. But it was a game, like, I played Quake 3 enough that I could probably have played some of those maps quite effectively with my eyes closed. Because the sound was that good. You could, if you knew the layout of the map. It's weird because it was only stereo, but you could still pick out everything. With the context of like how the map unfolds, you could hear something and be like, alright, I'm shooting that doorway, because you knew. Brilliant game. Japan created this gaming market. Now they cry when Xbox wants to play the same way. There is a bit of that. I mean, I never played Sea Smash on the Dreamcast, no. Microsoft and original Xbox have a close relationship with Dreamcast. A lot of games went across to Xbox. Yeah, because Microsoft made the operating system for the Dreamcast and helped Sega with all of that pioneering online functionality. So, very much. Guess which Duolingo you're doing Ukraine today. I don't like this audio track that's playing. It's got lyrics. The judge is asking the FTC if Sony had the 10-year contract, how would it affect the consumer? She's drilling down on this point at the moment. Oh, is it going on today? Yeah. I'm bored of the court case in general. I still think the FTC have done a terrible job from what I've seen, and like I say, I'm only absorbing it passively because I'm not that interesting. But I don't think they've argued a very strong case, even when there are like strong arguments that could be made. I'm not... What? I am interesting, I'm not interested. Very confusing. Very confusing. It must be getting late. Is it late? No, it's only 11:15. You'd be surprised if the injunction is enforced. I saw as well the Canadian Competition Authority, I don't know what they're called, but they tried to interject into the court case to say that they think it should be blocked, right? That's weird. I don't know why that would be their avenue or approach as a regulator to send a letter to the US court. But apparently they did. The FTC had their kid fanboys talking through them. Do you know, they would have had, I say this genuinely, they would have had a stronger case if they'd focused the whole court proceedings around virtual reality. Then they would have had a stronger case than whatever it is that they're doing, focusing on consoles. And I'm not saying that that's like the approach they should take. They should have focused on virtual reality, but you could make a more convincing case that it's damaging in that distinct market. Canada just voiced concerns, not blocked. They voiced, no, Selwyn Grant, from what I gather, and it's secondhand via Twitter, so it's probably wrong. From what I gather, they didn't just voice concerns. They didn't block it. They did nothing as a regulator, but they tried to interject with the court case to say that they think it should be blocked. Which is what I mean by like that's weird behavior, because that's not what a regulator does. They don't go and ask a different country or state their opinions elsewhere without taking any action. And apparently they did it like too late for their own processes to actually have any effect. So they just went through the US court. Very strange. And typically when something is very strange, it's fairly likely that it's not correct. So don't take my word for it. Like I say, secondhand information. Probably nonsense. You think Microsoft is killing it last time? You knew, but it could have changed. The thing that I find weird is it's only a filing for a preliminary injunction, so it's not a filing to block the deal. And I know that Microsoft like tried to raise the stakes. They've said that if the preliminary injunction goes through, then Activision are going to walk away and it effectively is a block. But that shouldn't really have any weight on the legality of it. So really, it should be a low bar for the FTC to hit, to just put a pause on the deal. Preliminary injunction, so that they can bring it to court properly. And that's the only thing that, like, they can lose horribly, but it is a low bar that they have to hit to get that block. And I think they're still going to fail from what I gather, but then I'm gathering it from the wrong sources, so who knows. Replicant Bobby K said that if the injunction is passed, then ABK will walk away. They did say that, but like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right that they did. But it's not really like, in terms of legal process, that shouldn't raise the stakes, right? It doesn't change what the court case is as far as process goes. So it's a bit of a weird one. It shouldn't change like the terms necessary to get a preliminary injunction just because the timing is a bit weird, but But they seem to have like really approached the losing angle of playing it in favor of Sony. Yeah, he's trying to raise the stakes, trying to influence the decision, and I get all of that, but I think right, I'll be surprised if that's effective. Because generally the legal systems in most countries are actually pretty good. Playing Call of Duty in the courtroom at the minute. What? Tony, don't tweet things that I say. Not even I tweet things that I say. That's slightly contentious. I'm very sorry, Isla. Don't boo. Don't boo. Is it Divinity Original Sin 2? Thank you, Painful Discourse, for correctly identifying the OST of a brilliant game. Have you played it? Has anybody played Divinity Original Sin 2? Why is Gaz singing in the background? It's not enough to ruin the game, Tony. Those are really good games. You've played it a bit. I haven't finished 2. I got about 40 or 50 hours into 2. But Divinity Original Sin 1 I did finish. Very, very good. 2 was also very, very good. Which leads me to believe that Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur, whatever you want to call it, Baldur's Gate 3, launching this year in the same month as Starfield, is probably going to be absolutely brilliant. What a shame to have that game and Starfield in the same month and no possible way of playing them quickly. Just the song lyrics, yeah. It's such a good game, that one. It's a tactics, like turn-based tactical game with a lot of freedom in how you play it. Co-op mode, you can play the entirety of it with someone. Can't remember if that one supported 4-player co-op or just 2, but... And even the choice and consequence dialogue things, even those function as a multiplayer thing. So you can choose polarizing options with your co-op partner and play your traits off against each other. It's good fun. Aren't they the same day? Are they the same day? Wild. Do you know what? If you asked me to guess which one is going to get the higher review score, I would struggle. Because they are both, I suspect they're both going to get very high scores. I think Divinity Original Sin 2 it was 90 something. Hope I'm not wrong on that, because I don't like being wrong, but... Right. I think that's enough. Unless anyone else has got anything in particular that you want to talk about from the court case, then we'll move on to those questions. Just a bit above 90, yeah. That's a very good score for a quite niche RPG though, right? Mario, Wonder and Spider-Man come out the same day. Baz, don't be silly. Mario came out in the previous century. They don't still release Mario games this century. That character is dated and useless and worthless. Spider-Man is still current and trendy. Mario is not. And I will not hear otherwise. Right. Why did I choose the pink one? Question from Isla referring to the thumbnail. I just looked at all 4 of them. So Isla sent me 4 versions of the thumbnail with the different colours. I looked at all 4 of them and decided which one caught my attention the most, and it was that one. And that's the point of a thumbnail, right? You want to play Disco Elysium? Yeah, me too. That's on the backlog. Wait. So, question from Butch Luffy. Is there a game coming out that I'm truly excited for? Not simply interested in, but genuine non-VR. Are there any non-VR games that I'm excited for? Butch, you still there? I really like VR, but I really like pancake games too. They don't. It's not that one thing totally replaces the other. It's like I like films as well. So VR is my favorite way to consume if I have a choice. But I really like playing games, and sometimes I like watching films, and sometimes I like watching TV. I rank things in that order. So games are still very high on the list of things that are entertaining to me. I play a lot of pancake games. I'm very looking forwards to Hades 2. I'm very looking forwards to Hades 2. And I'm very much looking forwards to Starfield. Quite looking forwards to Spider-Man 2. My expectations for that are that it's like I loved Spider-Man 2018. I liked Miles Morales. So I think Spider-Man 2 will be brilliant, but it definitely has a more of the same vibe, which is a little bit harsh when I'm saying that I'm really looking forward to Hades 2, where in that case, more of the same is exactly what I want. But so Spider-Man 2, Starfield, and Hades are, off the top of my head, the ones that I'm most looking forward to for the rest of the year. Baldur's Gate 3 should be on that list, but I know realistically I'm not going to get to playing it this year. So that'll be one that goes very high onto the backlog. And that's mostly because it's going to be really long. Starfield is going to be really long. Baldur's Gate is going to be really long. I'm also very looking forward to, within the VR space, Synapse and Firewall Ultra. Should be very good. And I've got a new treadmill coming, so I've got such a VR catalogue. Later on this year, Prey Dogs mod comes out, which opens up pretty much every Unreal Engine 4 and 5 game to VR as well. So I'm not short of things to play this year. Space Denizen, you're very interested in Alan Wake 2. You never played 1, so you're glad that the remastered is coming to PlayStation Plus. So, I didn't like Alan Wake very much. I think it had atmosphere and vibes. The problem that I had with Alan Wake is I played it like a few years after it came out, and it dated horribly. The characters looked so bad when I went to play it, but it still had, like, it had an intriguing story, and like the setting was cool, but the combat was just freaking awful to me. Everything about Alan Wake combat was like, shine a torch, then shoot. And as a mechanic, that wore thin so quickly. Shine a torch, then shoot. Okay. And cool stuff happens. Creepy things happen as you explore. And I like that about it. But it's like, I don't hate Alan Wake, but it didn't hold my attention at all. I didn't get through it. So Alan Wake 2, I really like Remedy. I like the games in general. I enjoyed Quantum Break. I didn't finish Control, but I liked shooting the bookcases. So Alan Wake 2 is, I will look at it and I will shoot bookcases. But the story kind of already lost its hold on me because I didn't get through the first one. Which is a difficulty that like sequels can face. So we'll see. Darkwood, what do you mean Darkwood? Painful Discourse? Games with Gold finally has something that you wanted to play. Oh, you want to play Darkwood, and Arcade Paradise is coming. Yes, I should play that. Episode 50 giveaways. It's allegedly episode 50. I'm not convinced. I thought we were on 49, but giveaway is, no, I don't have anything, Tony. I will give away my debt. So bad luck if you win that. Kratos, you're frustrated with the map on Control. You ended up deleting the game because of it. Yeah, I got to... If you've played it, then you'll know what section I'm talking about. There's a section where there's a sequence of corridors that shift and change as you go through. And I don't know, I guess I saw something shiny somewhere else and just stopped playing. Sequence of corridors that kept shifting and changing. I ran around there a few times, went somewhere else, forgot what I was doing, and then went to a different game. How about that Steam Summer Sale? Half-Life Alyx for 24 monies. I've already got Half-Life Alyx, so that's no good to me. What else is on there, Space Denizen? What is on the Steam sale? I know Spider-Man's on offer at the moment. I'm resisting because I know I've not got time to play it. Have I been poorly? I look stoned for recovering from COVID. How rude. No, I'm just tired. I don't sleep. Not had COVID, not stoned. Very tired. Really pale. Isla said I was pale as well. That's just lighting. I'm actually a beautiful golden retriever. I don't know what I'm saying. What's happened? We get rid of Twitter. Did that make me less pale? No, I'm still a bit pale. I don't know. No clips. You bought 7 games. What you bought, Tony, for your 4090? Lots of stuff to play with Preydogs mod. Space Denizen, that's going to change everything. Tando, you think Diablo sucks? Welcome, by the way. The Diablo conversation was a while back, so I don't know if you're going to hear this for the next hour, but welcome. Sorry that I missed our Street Fighter 6 fight on Sunday. I did intend to play it. I had Street Fighter ready to go. My room was too hot, and the capture card that handles my camera melted. So it's in the title, you nerd. Oh, I see. Yeah, I wrote that title. I should know. So welcome, Tando. That means you might be here in the present right now. Scared to fight you, no need for excuses. No, genuinely, like, I wanted to play that. I was all ready. I had a frustrating Sunday. I've said before that the setup they use for streaming and things is very, very complicated. There are 3 PCs involved. My camera, this one right here that I never look at, routes into 3 different PCs. But like, I've got the same capture card on all of them, but the one that I use for streaming decided to completely melt. So that doesn't work anymore. I've shifted things around. I can't promise that this Sunday is going to be Street Fighter though, because I've got my new toy to play with, so we'll see. There will be more Street Fighter at some point. We will fight. Tony, what are the games? Thumper, Outer Worlds, Divination. What's Divination? Is that from the Divinity series? If it is, you bought the wrong one. Blind Fate, Edo no Yami, Amanda the Adventurer, and Final Fantasy 15 Complete Edition. You've already played Final Fantasy 15, Tony. I guess you just want to see what it looks like at its best while you wait for 16. Thumper's a VR game, so don't bother playing that on pancake mode. That will be weird. Play Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is very good. Don't really know those other games. Vertigo 2, I've already got. Space Denizen, also high on the list. Oh, Tony, you got Final Fantasy 14. Oh, no. Who is it? I can't remember who it is that you like to harass. It's that Jordan, isn't it? You're going to harass Jordan on Final Fantasy 14. If you like it, Tony, do let me know. Thumper rocks. Thumper, not as a pancake game, surely, Space Denizen. The Final Fantasy demo was amazing. You're going to pick it up when it's on sale. I think I have to wait for the PC version and just be a 60 frame snob. Final Fantasy 16 is a story game. It's not going to get any worse if I just wait for that PC version. And then there's always that chance of playing it all modded into VR. But I do want to play Final Fantasy 16. I do want to listen to it. Tony, you've got plans. It's a big game, 14. It's going to take you a long time. Sounds like the judge is cross-examining the FTC. You're following... Oh, Sauron Grant. Don't follow him. He's a bellend. To be fair, he's like, I'm aware that his coverage is on point and frequent, but the slant to it will corrupt and ruin your brain. Don't trust that guy at all. He's clearly got a financial agenda. Plus, he was incredibly rude to Luke Steele. It's not a hot take. He tried to. So Luke Steele, we had on Go Live. He's a mergers and acquisitions lawyer in the UK with like very relevant takes. What did he rude to Luke? He told everyone to ignore Luke's takes. He said that Luke lives on a small island and nobody should listen to anything that he says. Like really condescending and dismissive based on him living on an island. You live on that island, you don't. I think Luke is in New Jersey. I don't even, my geography is terrible. I think Luke is on one of the United Kingdom's smaller islands. But yeah, Foss Patton's decided to do that research into his legal firm and try to discredit him based on where he lived. Despite the fact that he's a mergers and acquisitions lawyer in the UK, making his opinions on that far more relevant than Foss Patton's. He was a proper dickhead about it, so yeah, don't trust him in the slightest. He is unhinged replicant, that is true. He went completely mad at the point that the CMA did do their initial block. And he's very clearly a shill, like he's very clearly got a vested interest in the deal, so don't trust a word he says, and just, if you are reading his updates on the court case, understand that they are very slanted. Marlon was a man-child. I've seen people reacting to screenshots of him. I've not watched what he did or what he said. He got angry about something, right? Can you get good internet on a tiny island? Probably. I don't know. Yes, Tom. Luke was brilliant, and like everything that he said was balanced and reasonable, and he was well qualified to say it. So, yes. So, wait. There's a question up that I didn't get already. So, you really don't believe me it's episode 50, even though you counted. I do believe you. That's why I've said it's episode 50. Welcome to episode 50, everybody. Wayne, you've unfollowed Marlon. He seemed to have gotten into a rut. You felt kind of bad for him. I can't say that I've been following closely. Baz, he's been like it all week, kicking off about Xbox every day this week. Oh, what? Marlon. I think, as far as I know, that's always been his style of content though, right? Oh no, buffer. Wait for it. It's dropping. Please reconnect. Okay, you're correct. There was a nasty buffer there. We dropped 698 packets. Frames. We dropped 698 frames. I'm sorry, but we are back. Asa will ship a game of their choice for all who watch the stream. Kratos, I'm afraid not. I would like to be able to generously reward you for your time, but no, I have nothing. I spend all my money selfishly on myself on treadmills and VR headsets. I'm a packet. Look, you get on with your Halo Infinite. Make sure you win. That's all I can say. Marlon is the It's a Rap fool when he believed the PlayStation 5 was RDNA 3. I know he's the It's a Rap guy. He's in my memory banks as PlayStation fan from Gaz's world. I'm a golden retriever. Okay, I did say that out loud, didn't I? That was silly. You won a few. Good. Who's got a quest? Who's going to play Quake 3 with me? "4v4 arena maps are lovely. Forest map is beautiful." I always figured on Halo 5, I figured the arena mode was the one that I would enjoy more if I got into it. But I was always too scared. In a 4v4, like, your own ability becomes way more significant than it is in a big team battle, and I didn't want to let down 3 other players by being terrible. No FTC news. Baz, I don't like that stuff, but I couldn't avoid. There has been some interesting shit coming out of this court case, right? And it's not the ABK thing. Like, that's going to play out and whatever. I hope it ends soon. But all of this, like, these failures to redact documents have been amazing. Like, Sony, the stuff that they redacted wasn't all that interesting. It was mostly numbers, but they redacted documents with a Sharpie and then used a scanner that was sensitive enough to pick up the original text underneath the Sharpie markings. So they released documents to the public. They tried to remove information from the public, and they made it clearly visible and readable. And then there was Microsoft's redacted document where they did worse. They forgot to even Sharpie it. They sent out their list of like acquisition targets that they've considered over the last 3 years, and they intended not to show anybody. They intended to redact all of the company names, but they showed every single one. So you've had like 100 games companies and I think 70 something companies in the mobile space that Microsoft have considered acquiring, and the result has been they're acquiring almost everyone. So you've had a load of like insiders all over Twitter doing the, oh, I said that one, I'm the best, look at me, I said a thing. And they're insufferable. They remind me of, I'm going to find it 1 second. I'm going to show you the insiders on YouTube this week, what I've been seeing firsthand. What I've been seeing from certain people on Twitter. One moment. That didn't work. You weren't supposed to hear that. Did you hear that? Wrong browser. One moment. I've done something stupid. I did do something stupid. You didn't hear anything. Good. I'm supposed to when I'm ready. So, mute the OST. This is what I've been seeing on Twitter, because Microsoft are like, we're acquiring, or we've considered acquiring these 176 studios, and certain people that mentioned any of them have been all over the place with,
I am so great, I am so great, everybody loves me, I am so great.
this is what I've been seeing on Twitter.
Could you please
Every time someone quote tweets themselves, that's what they are to me. Replicant, you missed Saturday. Wait a minute. That's one example. Yes, Isla. That's one example. I will not be naming names. 'Tis my attempt at remaining dignified. Does that make sense? That's a good idea, Isla. Someone should do that. So, let's get back to the questions. Do I think that Sega would be better under Microsoft's wing? For a long time, I've said that that would be a nice one. Like, Sega would be much more interesting and much more appetizing than Activision Blizzard King as one for Microsoft to acquire. Sega have very recently said they're not particularly interested in being acquired at the moment. They've got a nice close relationship with Microsoft, but they want to remain independent. I do worry that their Project Massive Super Game, whatever it is, will fall flat. Sega trying to chase games as a service feels like it's not got a positive future. So maybe after that happens, when they spend all of this money on something that turns out a little bit horrible, maybe then they'll be ripe for being acquired. But yes, they have like, oops, I forgot the OST. They have like a strong relationship there. They've got a massively like exciting catalog of IP and games for me. I had all the Sega consoles growing up, so I would love to see things develop there. Yes, Atlas are keeping them afloat. They've also got Creative Assembly and Relic are theirs as well, right? So they're strong in Japanese RPGs and PC strategy games. So they do make a lot of sense as a target acquisition. It's one that I think I would like to see. I think I would. I don't think we will be seeing it anytime soon. Jimbo Baggins claiming he spoke to all publishers and they don't like Game Pass. That was a strong statement, wasn't it? He said publishers unanimously don't like Game Pass, which is... He clearly misspoke, saying that under oath with like so many publishers that clearly do like the bag they get from it. You screamed because someone used your kettle, and everyone's mad because they thought it was an emergency. I'm not mad. You can scream again if you want. I don't mind. Next question, please. I suspect, Baz, that there are some publishers that aren't too keen on Game Pass. One of them being Activision. Bobby Kotick was not a fan, was he? He said he doesn't want to put his games on there, that it devalues games. But the people, like the publishers that don't like Game Pass, don't like it under very specific circumstances. He definitely couldn't say as strongly as Jim Ryan did that publishers unanimously don't like Game Pass. But you could definitely see that some of them don't want to put games day one on Game Pass because there's evidence of that. Take-Two don't want to put Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption on Game Pass when they're fresh and new, do they? Like, Activision don't want to put Call of Duty on Game Pass. Ubisoft don't want to put Assassin's Creed on Game Pass. Obviously they do, but not when they're new. So there's like elements of subscription services that those publishers are probably not massively happy about. But to say that publishers don't like it was a bit ridiculous, especially in the environment that he was in when he said it, which was in court under oath. Jimmy's talking crap. Game Pass is great value for you personally. You have it stacked until 2025. Yeah, the value conversation is like clearly not from the consumer perspective when he's saying that it devalues games, because for us it doesn't. We just get more to play for a lower price. In terms of like the value of a game from his perspective as the one trying to sell it, then maybe it devalues games from where he's sitting in his chair, but maybe it would be harder to deliver a Last of Us Part 3 straight into a subscription service, but he values it in that he won't be able to sell it for 70 monies anymore. They have been on at one time. Yes, Baz. Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption 2, they've definitely been on the subscription services. But Take-Two were quite vocal that they wouldn't do day one on the services, so they didn't like it in that sense. Strauss was one of the outspoken, what's the word? Detractors once upon a time, despite putting those games, like long in the tail games, onto services. Episode 13, of course, you just think he's flip-flopping too much, Jim. He doesn't feel like a gamer to you. You respect Phil more. You're a source swimmer, I guess. I don't think Jim Ryan is a gamer. I don't think he's ever claimed to be one either. This is why I say, like, I'm glad that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are there at the Xbox division of Microsoft, because I don't think Satya's a gamer really either. He said that he plays Candy Crush, which kind of proves that he's not really the voice that we want for Xbox games, right? Should just buy them. Should just buy Take-Two. Well, maybe they will. Who knows? Who knows what happens next? Right. Am I going to play Sonic Superstars? Who asked that? Peter, are you going to play Sonic Superstars? We talked very briefly about it last week in that I think the cursed one, I think Mario's wonderful, weird game probably looks better than Sonic Superstars. And I don't like Mario. Don't want that game to exist particularly, but it's not high on my list. From the creators of Balan Wonderworld, much as I enjoyed Balan Wonderworld, Sonic Superstars just looked a little bit weird to me. I could bring up a trailer and explain what I mean, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm definitely not expecting to pay more than a tenner for Sonic Superstars, Peter. When it's been out a little while and goes real cheap, then maybe I'd give it a whirl. Tony, you just acquired pizza. Congratulations. Have I modded my Switch? I've not, Baz. Modded it, what, for free games? I think if I were going to go that route, I'd just use PC. I also would buy the games, even if I were playing it on PC. I'm not anti-piracy. I think ethical piracy is a thing, but me pirating games wouldn't be ethical. So I will not. So I'm just going to sit here waiting for a discount for Breath of the Wild forever. You have a design idea for member badges. You don't know if it's good enough. You can say it if you want to, or we can talk about it elsewhere. Do it for PC and you buy all of the games. Yeah. I say that, like, piracy is a big conversation in general, because it can get quite philosophical on whether it's okay or not, and under what circumstances it is and isn't. I will say I'm not entirely against it, but for me to do it would just be dirty stealing. Yes, Tony's child is a T-Rex. You have to show. Okay, that's cool. You're better off looking for a user. Breath of the Wild. A used copy. Yeah, used copies of Breath of the Wild aren't cheap either. At least the ones that I've seen, like retailers here are aware that the price never comes down from Nintendo. So a used copy of Breath of the Wild is usually like 54 quid or something stupid like that. Peter, you didn't answer. Are you going to buy Sonic Superstars? Are you going to play Sonic Superstars, I should say, as that was your question. And while you're answering that, let's have the next question, please. The 3 Super Mario games collection is up to 300 now. Gaza's still got, I think, 4 copies of that. I didn't realise that was already selling for a lot. Don't tell him. Let him sit on it forever. Space Denizen, I've not shopped around. I'm not that desperate to get on to Breath of the Wild. I'll play it at some point, but I think I'll be... Yeah, I'm in no rush. There's other games that I'm more enthusiastic about. Peter Morland, you did answer yes. Are you... Like, how much are you anticipating paying for Sonic Superstars? What's a fair price for a game like that? Next question, please. You own 2 sealed copies of the Mario trilogy thing. Whoa, hold them or sell them. There are not more questions. We've finished. Okay, we've made it. It's 20 past 11, so... I swear I was nearly finished at 10:30. I don't know what happened there. Oh, then someone mentioned the FTC thing. Replicant. It was you, I remember. Why would you open Mario games, Tony? Why would you open Mario games? It's 2023. Even if you opened it last year, it's like 22 years too late to open a Mario game. Right, let's finish up. Yeah, so I'm gonna say, like, I've been missing from streaming pretty much for the last couple of weeks. So I'm really grateful that you're all here to talk to me again, despite my absence, that you didn't forget I exist. You've all come along for conversations. If you are here and you're just listening in the background because you don't like talking or whatever, thank you to you as well. Genuinely very grateful. So Oh, Saturday, go live. We've got a cool guest on Saturday. I'm really happy. Don't know how that happened. We've got Gene Park on Saturday. Don't know who else. We've probably got somebody else as well. But Gene Park is one of the nicest and most interesting personalities around the gaming space. So that's something to look forward to on Saturday. So Isla, you may be aware of him from the cancer survivor perspective, because that came up in conversation. But he's also one of very few genuine gaming journalists, and seems to have led a very interesting life as well. So be there for that one, because that should be good. That's Saturday at the usual time. Sunday I'll be streaming something, perhaps from my new treadmill. Can I repeat his name? I can't, in case I'm like tragically saying it wrong. I'm assuming it's said how it's spelled, like all phonetic, but Gene Park, yeah. I feel terrible if that's wrong. I'll delete the whole show. Yes, I know that is the correct spelling. Replicant, he's witnessed Gaz before, like he's been in chat on Go Live, so I'm sure he knows what he's getting himself in for. And yeah, that should be a good one. Look forward to that. Then some games on Sunday and some more stuff next week. And on Thursday, this show will be back as well. So thank you, everybody, for coming along and all of that stuff. Enjoy your evenings, enjoy your nights, get some sleep, play some games, do all the good stuff, and I will see you soon. Yeah.